Forever I'll live, forever I'll try. Forever I'll run, forever I'll die. Forever this heart, forever my soul. Forever I'll be, forever unknown. Days and nights, skin and bone. Forever this town, forever my car. Forever this night, forever these stars. Forever I live, forever unknown. Forever in love, forever a ghost. Days and nights, skin and bone. I'm still here, but you moved on. Forever falls in love with the guy that wears sweater vests. She used to be mine, but now it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye. Days and nights, skin and bone. I'm still here, but you moved on. I live inside an old photograph. I wish that I could feel your love again. So I live inside that old photograph. And I wish that I could feel your love again. Forever falls in love with the guy that wears sweater vests. She used to be mine, but now it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Outer East Ayrshire Broadcasting Corporation, calling civilization. How are you doing? A little bit of a worry there until I found that one of the wee pins had come out of my hotspotty thing, and I occasionally need to tighten it up with a pair of pliers, and I forgot to do that today. So I'm going to be really careful and try and not kick the desk, because if I just tap the desk, the pin will probably pop out again. And then we'll all start buffering. So if it does start buffering, it'll be because the pin's popped out. I'll quickly grab it, squeeze it with the pliers, shove it back in, and the buffering should stop. Okay. Oh my God. It's going to be one tonight, I can tell you. All right. Am I coming through loud and clear? Okay. I'm going to turn this screen off to my right because it's really confusing me. And I've got a screen there, but that's confusing me too. So I'll be coming in loud and clear. I think we are. I hope we are. I have no idea. Oh, it might be a wee bit too hot, actually, this mic. I think the mic was a bit too hot. It's still looking a bit too hot. I'll take it down to there. How's that? Is that mic a bit better? There. Yes, it was a wee bit hot before, I think. Right, before I get started, this is going to take either some paracetamol, ibuprofen, aspirin, or something a wee bit stronger, right? So I'll have a little libation to get me through this one. This is a tricky one, but for everyone who's popped in tonight, thanks very much. And slanjiva. Nectar. Right. Somebody did say thumbs up. Wasn't me. Thank you, whoever said that. And also, I think I did see... I think I did see Mark... Oh, sorry. Exiled. FBV. Thanks very much for the... I don't know if it's a super chat or a super thanks. Whatever it is. Thank you very much. Not duct tape, but it'll be very useful, as you know. I don't monetize the live streams, and this one's not monetized, so hopefully you shouldn't see any adverts. It shouldn't break for any ads, because I don't monetize it at all. If it does go to an ad break for some of you, it's YouTube's doing it. It's a bit unfair, because if they're putting ads on, I'm not getting paid a penny for this. But apart from the super chats and super thanks, so thank you very much. Exiled FPV. I don't know if you want me to say your name or not. I think I already did. Right. Okay. Caroline says it wouldn't be a Windswept Robert stream without some buffering. Oh, you're absolutely right. It wouldn't be, and I don't purposely do things wrong. I just, I'm old. I'm dated. And I do my best. Right. Now I want to get to my topic tonight. Quite a serious topic, and I've been working on it for weeks and weeks, right? But before I get to that, I did just want to say, let me scroll up there. Gerard McGlinchey, thank you very much for that super chat. Super chat, thanks very much for that. Really appreciate it. It goes a long way to help me with the live stream. As I say, it's not monetized. And you know something, if everybody did a £1 super chat or something like that, it would probably make it worth my while to do it every week. But having said that, I'm not back every week, right? I would like to be, because I do miss chatting with all of you guys. Hate that. I do miss chatting with you, but it's a full day. As I explained when I stopped the weekly live stream, it's because it's not just the hour that I live stream for. It takes me a whole day of preparation. It might not seem like it. It might seem like I'm just winging it most of the time, but I do a lot of preparation for it, and it takes me all day. So I can't do that every single week. However, I was having a chat with some of you in some of the comments, and I think on my Discord too, asking, are you going to be ever live streaming again? And I said, yeah, I'll try to do a live stream on the first Sunday of every month, and that's what I'm doing tonight. Or if I can't manage that, if I have something that I think I want to say that I think might be important and might affect a lot of people, then I'll come on to a live and say it. And that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm doing two of those things tonight. I am doing a live because it's the first Sunday of the month, and I want to try and do that if I possibly can do it every month instead of every week. And also because I do have something that I think is very, very important. It's something that I started to look into for two reasons, and I'll come to those two reasons in just a second, after I said hello to just a few people. So I'm not going to scroll back and say hello to everyone, so excuse me if I miss you, but anyone in yellow who has said Windswept, who's put at Windswept Robert, like Paul Taylor. Hi Paul, how you doing? Stevie Elder, it's been that long that you forgot how to do it. You're no kidding. I still remember how to do it. It's just that things are very precarious here, and also because living where I live, you can never rely on the connection to actually work. Okay, so who else we've got? Jeremy Glynchy, you've got you. Paul Taylor at Windswept Robert, Peter Mann. Oh, Dave Cullen, here's an at Windswept Robert. Dave, what did Dave say? Dave said Johnny Walker Red, one of my favourites. Have that. Aye, that's nice, but it's a It's a blended. This is a single malt, the Robert Burns, so I'm having a wee single malt tonight. But it's a bit of a special occasion, you know. The monthly. Now, is it going to be the monthly live stream? I don't know. Graham Lindsay, hi Robert. Sorry you are not feeling well. Hope the medicine helps. Evening everyone. Hope you're all well. No, I'm feeling all right, Graham Lindsay. The reason I'm talking about paracetamol and ibuprofen and aspirin is because you all might have a headache by the time we get through this live stream tonight with what I've got to show you. Dig in, right? Strap in. It's going to be a one of those ones. Graham Lindsay, thanks very much for the super chat. Medicine or whatever, we understand that time pressures. Yeah, and as I said, Graham, I do want to get out as much as I can and make videos. And I think if I have a day, like a Sunday, for example, I'd rather spend it going out getting all the footage and everything for a video and then starting to put a video together, rather than spend it, you know, and spend some of it with my family too. Rather than spend it preparing for a live stream. Anyway, right, so that Caroline just says something, it's quite a good point there. CAA doing their checkbox exercise, ask public check, do whatever we want, anyway check. Yeah, I've made that point before, Caroline, and I've said that I don't believe that anything that we see in any of their surveys that they send out makes any difference. The only time that it will look as if they have listened to us is if they already made a decision that we all happen to then subsequently ask for. If they made the decision to do that anyway, they will say, look, we listened to what you had to say. I don't think they do. And there's a couple of... Right, so that's a good way to bring me around to giving you the two reasons why I decided to make this live stream tonight on the subject that I did. One was I got a Mavic 3 for my birthday as a gift, which I'm sure you're all aware is a drone that's above 250 grams, but it's below 900 grams. If you've watched my videos, that's the drone that I specifically asked for, and not a Mavic 3 Pro, which is over 900 grams, right? For a specific reason. So what I'm going to be talking about tonight relates to that, and it also relates to an Air 3 or an Air 2 or an Air 2S, or any drone that is over 250 grams. But it's also going to be, I don't know if it'll be interesting or not, but it will also relate to anyone who bought a Mini 2, Mini 3, Mini 4 for the one reason that it's under 250 grams, and they thought and believed, due to propaganda, which I'll come on to, that this was the only way they could fly unrestricted. Well, not completely unrestricted, but you know, as unrestricted as possible, because that's what you have been told by the CAA. And I hate to sound like I'm disparaging my fellow content creators, but many of the content creators who have been pushing this same line. Now, I don't think those content creators have been pushing the line that they've been pushing to try to mislead anyone. I just think that they have been looking at the regulations regarding drones from the wrong angle. They've been coming at it the wrong way, and I'll explain what I mean as we go through this evening, okay? And it's going to be a tough one. Right, so before I get started, and this is going to be the only topic tonight. It may run over because I'm not going to stop at 8 if I haven't said everything I need to say, and I apologise to anyone who is in from the Drone Seekers International that I may run over a little bit and may run into your time, and I apologise if that happens. I'm going to try not to, though. I'm going to try to have finished before 8 o'clock. But I've got a lot of things to get through, and you say, well, get on with it then. Okay, I will. But I wanted to have just a quick look here, right? There you go, right? Just having a quick look. John Wheatley says, get the boss to help out, pal. Help out with what? I don't know what she's to help out with. But anyway, right. So let me get started, and if I have time, I'll go back and I'll have a look through some of your comments and maybe do some interaction. When I was researching this, I did tell you the two reasons. The first reason I've got a Mavic 3, and the second reason, a lot of the creators that I've been watching who have been not pontificating, but giving live streams and videos, making these about the CAA regulations and how they affect us. And I get a bit annoyed thinking, oh, how do I say this? Right. I decided to look into the CAA regulations and guidance versus the UK law as in Acts of Parliament, because the CAA guidance and the CAA regulations don't mean a thing unless they have been passed in Parliament as an act and are therefore enshrined in law. They don't mean anything. Okay? And I was slightly annoyed that this has never been brought up before by any of the content creators who talk about the CAA regulations, and they only tell you what you must do and what you mustn't do according to the guidance and the regulations within the CAA website, which not all of which, I used which twice there, delete the first one, not all of which is the law. A lot of the regulations I have discovered that the CAA use to restrict our drone flights are not actually law, and therefore, if supposing we were caught breaking these regulations and it went to court, the law would be on our side. Okay? And I'm going to go through that tonight and show you what the law is on one particular facet that I'm concentrating on tonight, because it's massive and I can't do it all. Okay? So the other thing I want to say is that I'm not a lawyer, and really you need to be a lawyer to understand this, and I'll show you why, and you'll realise why the lawyers go to law school for 5 years or 6 years or whatever it is and study and get paid the big bucks. You'll understand why after this. I'm just an ordinary Joe Schmo, but I'm fairly intelligent. It has taken me a lot longer to understand it all than it probably would a lawyer. And my notes and my way of thinking is probably not as refined and as good as a trained lawyer's would be. However, I think I've got it right. So I made some notes while I was putting all of this together over the past couple of weeks. While I've been putting this together, I made some notes for myself, and I'm going to be reading my notes verbatim as I've written them, partly, and then I'll do some exposition on my notes and show you some stuff on the screen. Okay. Is everyone still with me? Are we okay with that? Right. I don't know how many I've still got in the chat, how many I've still got here, if people have left or not, but I'm going to go for it anyway. I need to get this off my chest, right? Okay, here we go. Referring to my notes. And I'm going to be talking tonight about, let me bring it up on the screen. Right, the main thing I'm going to be talking about tonight is the Commission implementing Regulation EU 2019-4947, if I show you the full title, of 24th of May 2019 on the rules and procedures for the operation of unmanned aircraft. Okay, that's the main thing that I'm going to be talking about tonight. And I'm going to start by saying that, and this is me reading from my notes, okay? The laws regarding flying drones is extremely complicated. To fully understand the law, you must read many regulations, annexes, provisions, and you must comprehend how they all relate to each other to get the final proper account of what is lawful and what is not. And that means also that some regulations are not lawful. Okay? And that doesn't mean they're illegal. It just means that in law, if you don't abide by these regulations, you cannot be held accountable in law. Okay? Right. The CAA have guidelines which include real laws passed by an Act of Parliament. That's what a real law is. It's an act passed by an Act of Parliament. But they also have advice and guidelines which are not in law. And that the CAA, use confusing and often contradictory documents to make it harder to understand and make it almost impossible to tell which CAA rules are law and which ones are just guidance. They try to lead the public, that's us, me and you, they try to lead the public to believe that everything that they produce is the law, but it's not. Reading on from my notes, and I'm sorry if it's not flowing as well as it normally does, but I wanted to get these thoughts, and because my brain's deteriorating, the only way I can do that nowadays is to write down what I want to say. Because if I write down something if I don't write down something that I've thought of last Tuesday, by this Sunday I will have forgotten it, okay? So I'm going to take you through this confusion to highlight one example of misleading that has been accepted by most drone operators as factual and lawful, that has led most drone flyers in the UK to choose a sub 250 gram drone as their drone of choice, because they believe, from what the CAA has told them and been supported by some YouTube creators in this niche, that sub 250 gram drones are the least restricted drones, and any drones above this weight have to fly with restrictions. And I've even written down now where to begin, ... because it's a massive. But this is how I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the CAA page on drones, and here is a screenie. Okay, now when you first log into the CAA website, you are faced with a header in red at the top of the page, and it says, and I'll read it out just in case anyone's listening on podcast. The UK Civil Aviation Regulations, these are published by the CAA on our UK regulations page. EU regulations and EASA access guides published by EASA no longer apply in the UK. Our website and publications are being reviewed to update all references. Any references to EU law and EASA access guides should be disregarded, and where applicable, the equivalent UK versions referred to instead. Okay, that's what you're faced with when you log into the CAA website. It's at the top of each page in red. Now, I'm referring back to my notes again, now, because these were my thoughts at the time when I was researching this. The immediate impression that you have, or the immediate impression you will have, is that we don't follow the EU and the EASA rules anymore. That's what it says, right? And that's what other channels are telling you, right? Wrong. It's worded purposely to confuse, and it's full of weasel words, and I'm going to highlight that for you just now. Let me bring it back to you, and let me highlight the final sentence. The final sentence says, any references to EU law and EASA access guides should be disregarded. And here's the important part. And where applicable, the equivalent UK versions referred to instead. Now, what this doesn't mean is that we no longer abide by EU and EASA rules, as everyone is led to believe. What it means, and I'll show you some Acts of Parliament, the UK Acts of Parliament that says this, is that if there are still some EU laws that have not yet been replaced by UK laws, then the EU laws are still in effect. Okay, let that sink in for a moment. If there are some UK laws that have not yet, if there are some EU laws that we used to abide by that have not yet been replaced in law as an Act of Parliament by UK laws, the EU laws are still in effect, and I'll show you that it says that, okay? I've written my notes here, but I've already explained this, but I will read my notes again. It says, okay, so the reason that I started digging into this recently is because I was gifted a Mavic 3 for my birthday, and this is a drone above 250 grams, below 900 grams. It's therefore eligible to be, well, here I haven't said this, so therefore, so let's get to the crux of it. Why is this really important to me at the moment, and should be important to you too? Because any drone over 250 grams but under 900 grams is eligible to be flown in any EASA country, EU country, plus a few others, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, Norway and Iceland, I think it is, all on top of the 27 EU countries. You can fly your sub 900 gram drone in the C1 category, which is the same restrictions as a mini drone. Now you're going to say, oh, wait. This guy in that other channel and his cohorts have been telling us for ages and they know what they're talking about, that we don't use the C1 marking here anymore. Wrong. What did I say about, and where applicable, what did I say about any references to EU law and the EASA access guide should be disregarded, and where applicable, the equivalent UK versions referred to instead. If there aren't UK versions, if the law, if there are still some EU laws that have not yet been replaced by UK laws, the EU laws are still in effect. Now, I'm going to show you that the C category has not yet been replaced by the UK, so therefore it's still in effect, and I'll show you that, okay? There is a caveat, and I'll come to that too. Okay, so the last couple of lines in my notes, I wanted to find out the actual law regarding the restrictions in this drone that I have, the Mavic 3, rather than the guidance given by the CAA or the information given by other YouTubers. So here is the extremely convoluted path that I had to follow to get to the final conclusion, and I'm going to take you through the path, not all of the way through the path, because most of you will go into a coma, and you're probably about ready to start taking some headache pills now. Okay, so I'm going to get to the Acts of Parliament now. Before I do that, let me have a wee breather and have a look at your comments. Right. Okay. FPV Steve says, Robert, were you around when the guy got prosecuted for flying his FPV wing up your way? It was a flyway, but it crashed next to a nuclear power station that he was done. And he was done due to his details on it. No, I wasn't, but that would have been Hunterston nuclear power station, I suppose. No, I don't know anything about that. FPV Steve, sorry. Right. Bimok is saying, Robert, which government, the UK, or is it different for Scotland? No. Scotland has its own laws, but in this regard, Scotland follows the same rules as the UK laws regarding this. Our drone laws are the UK drone laws, or the EU drone laws, if they have not yet been replaced by UK drone laws. But we don't have separate drone laws. We have. I don't want to go too much off topic and spend too much time away from the topic. But what you're maybe thinking about, we can fly our drones differently from England and Wales, but that's not due to the drone laws. I'm not going to say drone regulations anymore, because unless the regulations are law, they don't mean anything. Okay, so that it's not that in Scotland we have different drone laws. It's that we have an act called the Land Reform Scotland Act, 2003, sorry. The Land Reform Scotland Act 2003, which allows us to go anywhere for any recreational purpose, and that means even onto private land, and it means even we can pitch a tent and stay on private land as long as it's not someone's garden and we're not adjacent to a building, a domicile, a residence. We can go anywhere in Scotland for any recreational purpose. And there's actually, I think I made a video about it. If I didn't, I will make a video about it. But I spoke about it in a live stream for sure. It even encourages us to use photography and drones, because drone's just a camera that flies, to forget the word, to promote our natural heritage and our historical heritage to others around the world. So that's why we in Scotland can fly with a lot more freedoms than you can in England. But as far as the drone law is, the laws regarding how far can you fly, what class of drones can you fly, we follow the same rules as everyone else in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Okay. So I hope that clears up that, and I didn't want to go off topic too much. Right. So Simply Scotland Photography has said that I follow Geeks Vanna for 5 minutes, then I'm in a deep sleep. Well, I didn't mention any channel names at all when I was talking about other creators. I will let you work that out for yourself. Okay, anyway, let me get on with this, please, if I can. Oh, there, Mark, thank you. I think Mark is linking to the screens that I'm going to be putting up here. Right, okay, let me get on here if I can. Right, where was I now? Okay, so, right, after wondering where do I start on this, where do I start to discover if I can fly my Mavic 3 in the C1 category, meaning it has the same restrictions as the Mini 3 in the UK as I can do in any of the 27 EU countries plus Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Iceland. Where do I start? So I looked at a lot of different places, thought that's not the right place, and finally I found it. I found where to start, and it was this. The place that I showed you earlier, which is the Commission Implementing Regulation, this one here, this is the one that tells you, right? Okay, and here is all the introductory to it. I've been through all of this, I've read all of these, but you can't just click in one and read it, because you then have so many different hyperlinks within each one to annexes, to provisions, to other things. But this is where you start, okay? So let me take you through a little bit. Let me come back to my face, right? I'm going to take you through a little bit of my path, where I started. That's where I started, and where I ended up, and how I came to the conclusions that I came to. But I'm not going to take you through every single step, because it would take more than an hour. It would take days, possibly weeks, to show you exactly where I went, because you have to refer to annexes, you have to refer to provisions, you have to refer to other clauses, you have to look at things that have been deleted, you have to look at things that have been amended. It's a nightmare. It took me 2 weeks just to get where I am. Okay, so I'm not going to take you through all of it, but I'll give you a guide, and then if Mark's putting the links in there, you can then go and do it yourself. Okay, but let me show you where I went with this, right? Okay, so Article 20, right? Okay, so there are no outstanding effects for the Commission, blah, 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 blah. No changes, right? So it says here, right, the particular provisions concerning the use of certain US in the open category, okay? So if you are flying in the open category and you are flying a drone which does not comply with delegated regulation, this one here that we're talking about, and which is not privately built, which means it's been built by a company like DJI, you are allowed to continue to be operated under the following conditions when they're placed in the market before. So if you bought a DJI drone before 6, you're allowed to fly it in the subcategory A1, right? Must be under 250 grams, okay? But let's read it again. UAS which do not comply can be flown here. So I thought, well, what if it does comply with this regulation? Does a Mavic 3 comply with delegated regulation EU 2019 /945? Does it? Well, I don't know. Let's have a look and see. Okay, so I had a look to see. Let's see. Does it? So here's where it tells you what actually applies to what you have to do to fly in a C1 class. Okay, in the UK, still currently standing, but before you get to it, it tells you that there are changes to legislation. This is where it gets complicated. There are changes to legislation, right? Not yet made to commission delegated regulation. This one, okay. So what you have to do then is you have to say, okay, well, I'll have a look at that. So I clicked on it, and this page opened here, which is, it tells you that, sorry, let me go back there. So the changes and effects yet to be applied, which means it's not yet applied. So that means it's still the EU regulation that's in effect. But let's suppose these changes are applied tomorrow. Let's see what those changes are. So the first change is Article 3, paragraph 42, right, is omitted. It is now omitted. And it tells you this is the regulation that pertains to the omission, or how it's the law that is telling you why this is now to be omitted, right? So I thought, well, what is Article 342? It's now omitted. So I clicked on it, boom, click on that, and what opens up is this, Article 3, paragraph 42. So this is now omitted. This is no longer in effect. The EU regulation means regulation EU blah 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 on an unmanned aircraft system and on third country operators of unmanned aircraft system, as that regulation has effect in EU laws amended from time to time. So it's not actually telling you anything. It's not now that that's been deleted, it doesn't change anything. I will note for you here though that paragraph 48 says third country means any country or territory other than the United Kingdom. Now, that's very, very convenient for the UK government to say that a third country is any country that's not us, because according to the EU, we are now a third country. Right? However, that was just an amusing sign. I thought, oh, there you go, look at that. But it doesn't actually change anything. It doesn't have any effect. So with 42 being omitted, that doesn't actually change anything at all. Okay, so that makes no difference to what I'm about to show you, right? Which is this here. So omitting that makes no change to what I'm about to show you. So what about Article 3A, paragraph 5? So Article 3A, this is 3, go to the next provision, is Article 3A, paragraph 5. Harmonised standards as defined in Article 320, so you then have to go back and look at 320, which I've done, right? The reference of which have been published in the Official Journal of the European Union and have effect as designed that Secretary of State designated standards under the regulations. Right, so in effect, what that does is it doesn't actually change anything either. Okay, the omission of that still doesn't change anything in the annex that I'm about to show you. Okay, I told you it was complicated. Oh, and the third change that hasn't yet been made yet, outstanding change, the third change is Article 42A. So if you click on that one, just to see what it is, I'll click on it and see what happens. What happens when I click on it? So 42 opens up 42A. Where is it? Oh God, that's not there, is it? Aviation safety and air. So there you go. So that's what it is. It's the air safety and air traffic management amendment, right? And I've had a look through all. I looked through all of these. You'll see some of them are dark blue and some of them light blue because I've clicked on them. And that, where's that first? I'll go back. Oh my God. See how complicated it is and see why it took me 2 weeks. So, the outstanding changes, the 3 outstanding changes to this article here, the third one doesn't change anything either in regards to this article that I'm about to show you. So we can disregard those changes even if they haven't happened. If they haven't happened, we don't have to abide by them anyway. But even once those changes do come into legislation, they don't actually affect this article that pertains to the C1 marking. So they don't matter, these changes. All right. We just I had to make sure that, I'm not giving you information on how you can fly something if there are changes that change that. But those changes don't change that. I hope that's clear. It's complicated. I understand that. So before we get to this article telling you what you need to adhere to, what the requirements are of you to fly in the C1 class, which is, and it tells you what the C1 class is in the UK, and it's the same, exactly the same as the A1 class, if you like. It's exactly the same, apart from one thing, which is a real tricky thing, and I am not sure about it yet, and I'm going to be asking you guys to find out for me, and I'll try to find out too. Okay, so I'm going to go in and tell you what the C1 category is and how to fly in the C1 category. Before I do that, I'm going to have a quick look, because I've got 15 minutes left, and it's not going to take 15 full minutes to go through this C1 class. So let's have a quick look at your, just to see if everyone's still okay with me and following along. Or are you having your own conversations about your own stuff? Right, Paul is saying that the CAA and UK government will do what they want regardless of how many pointless consultations. Absolutely, as Caroline pointed out at the beginning of this live stream, and as I have pontificated on many live streams, once again I'll repeat it for anyone who came in late. I firmly believe that any consultation that happens, if the public happen to agree with some of the changes that the CAA have already decided they're going to go ahead with, the CAA will say that we listened to you and made these changes. But they were going to make the changes anyway. So I don't believe, no matter how many YouTube creators tell you it's how important it is to have a say, I personally do not believe it makes one iota of difference. And I know there are many people believe exactly the same. So thanks for that, Paul. Right. Okay. Right. You've been having your own stuff, but that's good. Right. Okay. 15 minutes to go. Let me get through this C1 class. Okay. Now, there are certain things that you need to do with to get your C1 label. I may be wrong, but I believe that the Air 3 already comes with the C1 fitted. I think. I'm not sure. If there's anyone there who owns an Air 3, could maybe let us know. Does it come with a C1 label fitted? And if it does, you don't have to go through a certain procedure. You're already there. You can fly in this category straight away. If you have an Air 2 or an Air 2S or a Mavic 3 or a Mavic 3 Cine or a Mavic, not the Mavic 3 Pro, but any of the other ones, you can apply to DJI for a C1 label, which will allow you to fly right now in the EU and the other 4 countries as if your drone was a mini drone. And I believe in the UK, having read the legislation and explaining it tonight, I believe you can also do it here. So you can apply for it. Now, it's complicated. If you don't have a C1 label on your drone already, what you have to do is, and I have been in contact with DJI, and I was going to put the chat up on the screen, but I forgot to prepare it, right? So the chat's not up on the screen that I had with DJI. You just have to take my word for it. But they were very helpful. Oh, I made a video about it. What you have to do is you have to go to an EU country and fire up your drone, and you'll get a pop-up on your controller which you can then apply for your C1 label, but you must have an address in an EU country that they will send the label to. Okay, so it's complicated and it may be hard work. I have already spoken to one of my fine subscribers here. Thanks very much. You know who you are, who lives in an EU country. And it's not too difficult for me to get to that EU country and just launch my Mavic 3, and I'll get the pop-up, and then I will do the application through on my controller. It's the only way you can do it. There's no other way to apply for the C1 label than using your controller, and you can only do it in an EU country, because if you're not in an EU country like I am in the United Kingdom, you won't get the pop-up allowing you to apply for it. It just will not pop up. This was confirmed by DJI when I spoke to them, and they told me that you will only get the pop-up if you are in an EU country, but all you have to do is go to a EU country, launch the drone, and the pop-up will appear. Then you can apply. But as I said, the second part of that is that they will send you the label. Now, it may only take 2 days, but it may take a bit longer. So if you're on holiday for a week or two, you'll probably get it at the address if you use the address that you're staying at. But we know what the post is like in the mail. It may take longer, and if you're no longer at the place, at the address, you may not get the label. However, if you have a friend or you know someone that has an address in the EU country that you have launched your drone in, that's how you go about it. And I will be doing that. I'll be visiting an EU country probably over the 2-week annual break between Christmas and New Year. I'll be getting a ferry over to Ireland. And there is a friend has said to me he will give me his address when I apply, so when the label gets sent to him, he will send it across to me. And then my Mavic 3 will have a C1 label. Now, it's not just about getting the label. What you have to do then is you have to take a picture of your drone with the C1 label on it and the serial number of your drone and upload it to DJI, who will then confirm it and send you the certificate saying that you are licensed under the C1 category to fly your drone. Okay? So it's not just about having a label on it. You need that certification too. And you can only get it if you have the official DJI label and you've put it onto your drone, sent them a picture. But it can be done, okay? 10 minutes. Hopefully I'll get through this, because there's a big caveat. But let me take you through it here, okay? So here we go. A Class C1 UAS bears the following class identification label. You'll all be, many of you will be aware of what this is. And those of you who have an Air 3 that's got that on it, or a Mavic 3 Pro or whatever it is, I don't know, that's got one of those. No, not a Mavic 3 Pro, because that'll be the C2 class. But you may have a drone that has that already. That's what it looks like, right? So it tells you, here's all the provisions. A C1 UAS shall comply with the following. That means it must comply with all of the following to be able to have that C1 class and fly with it in the UK. In the UK, this is a UK regulation, right? Legislation.gov.uk. To fly in the United Kingdom, not in the EU, to fly in the United Kingdom, this is what you must do to comply with that. Here are all the things, right? It must have an MTOM of less than 900 grams, right? Okay, so that means Mavic 3, Air 3, Air 2, Air 2S, and I don't know, DJI FPV, possibly, Avata as well, right? A maximum speed and level flight of 19 metres per second. That is the speed of the Mavic 3, 19 metres per second, right? Maximum here on the takeoff point limited to 120 metres. or be equipped with a system that limits it, right? And it does. We know that the DJI software does limit you. You can turn it off, but it still does limit you. So all of these things it complies with, right? All of these things, but here is the caveat. Here's the sticking point. It must have a direct remote identification. Now, hold on, don't everybody go, oh, I knew it was impossible. It's got to have remote ID. Hold your horses, right? Bear with me. It must be equipped with a direct remote identification that does all of these things. And all of these things, this is paragraph 12, all of these things in paragraph 12 are the things that they're bringing in for all drones anyway. All drones in the UK are going to have remote ID. But here's the thing. Because it's telling you that to fly in the C1 category with a drone above 250 grams, under 290 grams, it tells you it must have direct remote identification. If and all of the other things, it already complies with without having to do anything, right? I've read through it. Take it from me. You can read it at your leisure. The Mavic 3 and the Air 3 and the Air 2S, they all comply with everything else. The only thing that they don't comply with currently is this: have a direct remote identification. But here's the thing. Let me take you back. Let me take you to the CAA regulations website again, and the remote ID section. Okay? And it says here, the UK is exploring whether and how to implement remote ID. This system enables a drone in flight to provide identification and local information that can be received by other parties. It's exploring whether and how to. It's exploring it. So that means that currently you cannot comply with paragraph 12. Let me bring paragraph 12 back up, if I can fin it. It was, oh my God, what one did I have opened just a second ago? Where is it? I think I've lost it. Paragraph 12, where are you? Paragraph 12, oh, there you go. Right. So it's telling you, can you, right, it's telling you that you must comply with paragraph 12, which is have a direct remote identification. But the CAA are telling you that they're exploring how to implement remote ID, which means they don't yet have a system. They're still exploring how to implement it. So therefore, you cannot comply with it. And it's the same as, let's suppose there was a regulation or even a law that says to fly a drone in the United Kingdom, you must have it tethered to a pink unicorn. You cannot be held accountable in a court of law for not having it tethered to a pink unicorn, because a pink unicorn doesn't exist. So it's impossible to comply with that. And you cannot be held accountable in a court of law for not complying with a law that is impossible to comply with. Okay, so currently, because the CAA are saying that, they are still exploring how to implement remote ID. You cannot yet comply with it, because even if you employ a remote ID system that you can buy off at eBay, that may not be the system that complies with the CAA are looking into. So therefore, you're not complying with it. You can't. It's impossible to. So therefore, you can disregard paragraph 12. And every other paragraph that is in there, let me bring it back. Every other one, no, that in. Every other paragraph from 1 to 20 means that you are complying. And I have looked, see, it's down here, it's got textual amendments. I have looked at every single one of these annexes to see if it changes, if that changes anything in this section, which is part 2. And I can tell you now, it doesn't change anything. So, in summary, with 3 minutes to go, Drone Seekers International will be very happy I'm finishing on time. So in summary, if you can apply for the C1 label by going to an EU country, sending your drone up, getting the pop-up on your screen, doing the application and getting the label sent to an address in the EU, and then you attach that label to your drone, take a picture of it, picture of your serial number of your drone, upload it to DJI, and they send you the C1 certificate telling you that drone is C1 certificated. You are eligible to fly in the UK under the Commission for Delegated Regulation EU 2019/945 of 12th of March 2019 on unmanned aircraft systems and on third country operators of unmanned aircraft systems. Part F, Annex, Part 2, paragraphs 1 to 20. And I'm not a lawyer, remember that. But neither are any of the other YouTube drone experts that give you advice on what the CAA regulations are. They're not lawyers either, okay? Remember that. When they're telling you information, they're not lawyers. I can look into the law, you can look into the law, and they can look into the law, all right? And it's not about interpreting the law. There's no interpreting to be done here. The law is the law. The letter of the law means the letter of the law. No interpretation is required, and no interpretation will be given. It's the law, what it stands word for word, okay? And word for word, everything that I've read, and I spent 2 weeks on it, which is not a lot of time, I know, but having spent 2 weeks on it, just on this one little thing, the C1 marking, I am convinced that we can fly in the C1 category, as I have described. Okay, so there you go. 60 seconds to go. Got through it all. I did. I hope that was... It's making people think now, all right, I'm going to look into this because this sounds really good. It means I don't really have to worry now about if I'm flying my Air 3 within 50 metres of people, right? You can fly right up to people now. Okay, so just popped up there, similar to Scotland Photography. Thanks very much for the super chat. Do appreciate it. For everyone who super chatted me, super thanked me today, I really appreciate it. I'm not monetising this, I'm not making a penny of it, so you're really supporting me. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I'll try to be back here on the first Sunday in January. I'll try my best. If I have something important to say before that, I will come on and do a live stream. And even if I find myself in a nice place that I think I want to share with you, I'll do it then. So if I don't see you before Christmas, have a fantastic Christmas. Thanks very much, everyone. I'll see you soon.